Hello and welcome to Exam Minded YouTube channel. Today we are going to learn about President and Vice President of India. Things which we are going to cover in this video are President's qualification for election, composition of Electoral College, reason for indirect election, term of office, procedure for impeachment, powers that are legislative, executive, financial, judicial, discretionary, and emergency. Then we are going to learn about President's qualification, term of office, powers, and then we will see previous year asked question of this chapter and also going to compare between these two authorities. Let me ask you a question. Do you know who is the highest authority of a country? Who signs the bill passed by the parliament to make them laws? Who represents our country at the highest level? If you know these answers, then comment down below. So, the President of India is the constitutional head of the state and also is the supreme commander of the defense force. Do President makes all the decision on his own vices? No, it is not like that. By the 42nd Amendment Act, it was made necessary that President will exercise their power in accordance with the advice of Council of Ministers. And who heads the Council of Ministers? If you know the answer, comment down below. So let us start by knowing what are the qualifications of President. He or she must be citizen of India. They must have completed 35 years of age and must be qualified to be a member of Lok Sabha and should not hold any office of profit. What is office of profit? Office of profit is they should not be getting their salary from government. They should not be a member of parliament or MLA, or they should not be a governor. Okay, now let's move to the next topic. Before that, we have few questions. What are the qualifications necessary for a person to be eligible for election as a President of India? As mentioned above, there are 4. Comment down below. Which article state that there shall be President of India in the Constitution? It is Article 52. Now we are going to see what are the composition of Electoral College. Before we move on to the Electoral College, we need to understand the election of President is indirect one. Why it is indirect one? Because you and I are not going to vote for this election. There are different Electoral College who are participating and voting for a person to become a president, and a person who wants to rise in the as a candidate for presidential election must be supported and proposed by 50 members of this Electoral College. Now let's see who are the members in the Electoral College. First, they must be elected members of both House Parliament. What are the both House of Parliament? Lok Sabha and Raj Sabha. Elected members of Legislative Assembly of State, including the 2 union territories, which is National Capital Territory of Delhi and Puducherry. And what is the name of this type of election called as? Proportional representation by single transferable vote, and it is done by a secret ballot. How the vote of MLA and MPs are calculated? The formula is mentioned here. The MLA's vote is calculated as total population of the state divided by number of electoral members of that Vidhan Sabha into 1000, and also MP's vote are calculated as total number of votes assigned to MLA of all state divided by total number of elected member of parliament. Now let's understand what a single transferable vote system means. Assume there are 3 candidates A, B and C. Let's see that in first preference of the voting system, A has secured 51 votes, B secured 40, C secured 9. Then A is the winner. But let's consider the different case. In this case, the first preference of A is 45, B is 45, C is 10. Then C is eliminated and his second preference votes are taken into consideration. And let's suppose that A got the highest second preference vote from C. Then A is the winning candidate of the election. Answer this question. Dispute over election of president shall be decided by whom? Who is deciding the dispute over the election of president? It is Supreme Court. And how does Supreme Court is deciding? Where it was decided that Supreme Court is going to decide? By 29th and 44th Constitution Amendment Act. Moving on, what were the reasons for indirect elections? So the reasons for indirect election were: India is a union of states, and by including MPs and MLAs in the election, both center and state gets equal say in choosing the head of the state, thus balancing the federal power. And if every single one of us would have given the right to vote, then the voter list would have become too huge to manage, and lots of money would have required to held these elections. Also, the president is supposed to be above politicians and not a popular politicians with a huge election campaign. So indirect elections help in keeping the office neutral and constitutional. Also, since a prime minister is chosen from the elected parliament, who is also head of the government, thus the head of the state, who is president, is also chosen by elected representatives. I hope these points are clear to you. Now we are going to cover three simple points, which is oath of office. Who makes president take office when he is elected? It is done by Chief Justice of India, and if Chief Justice of India is absent, then the senior most judges of the Supreme Court. What kind of oath does he take? He takes the oath to discharge the functions of the President of India, preserve, protect and defend the Constitution and the law, and also devote himself or herself to the service and well-being of the people. And how long does he sit in that chair as a president? For a term of 5 years. And when does this 5 years start? From the day he enters his office. What are the different terms of vacation of office? Vacant, खाली कब हो जाएगा उनका office? If he resigns, to whom does he signs his resignation to? To Vice President of India. He signs by writing to the Vice President. Or the vacation of his office can occur if he is dead or if he violates the Constitution. And if President is violating the Constitution, then the impeachment will take place. To answer this question, Vice President elected indirect in election. This was asked in previous year question. What are the oath of office by Chief Justice of India and the three different mentioned points? Moving on, what are the procedure for impeachment of the president? First of all, you answer this question: in which house does the impeachment starts? It can start in either house. It can start in Lok Sabha also or in Rajya Sabha. Now let us suppose that impeachment has started in Lok Sabha. Then 14 days notice in writing and signed not less than by 1/4 of total member of the house. Okay, and after this resolution has passed by the majority of not less than 2/3 of the total membership of the house, then it goes to the next house, in this case Rajya Sabha, and there these charges are preferred by either house of the parliament, and other house will investigate. They has to first set up the investigation according to the charges upheld by the Lok Sabha, and if result of the investigation a resolution is passed by the majority of not less than 2/3 of the total membership of the Rajya Sabha house, declaring that the charge has been sustained, मान लिया गया है उस चीज को, and such resolution will have effect of removing president from office. The good news is till date no president has been impeached. Okay, now let's see one thing. When the president was elected, then only the elected members were voting from the parliament and also the state parliament. But when the president is being removed, then only both elected and nominated people of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha are participating, but no member of the state or union territories are participating. Okay. Now moving forward, which house can initiate the impeachment? As I told you, any house, either of the houses, either Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha. How and why president can be removed? President can be removed if he or she has violated the constitution, and that process is called as impeachment. Moving forward, we are going to study now the different powers of the president. The different powers are executive, legislative, financial, judicial, discretionary, diplomatic. Let's see one by one. What does the executive powers of president looks like? First, the head of the union administration, who prime minister, council of ministers, takes the appointment under his name. Appointment of officials of the state. Who are the officials of the state? Like chairman of UPSC and the control and auditor general of the state. These all people are appointed under the president. Control over state government, as he also appoints the governor to that state, and union territories and borders are also under him. Diplomatic power which he have, appoints Indian ambassador to other country, receives ambassador, high commissioners and diplomatic envoys, treaties and international agreements concluded in his name, and president represents India in international conferences. Whatever things the Indian is doing in official terms in the name of government is done in the name of a president of India. What are the legislative powers of president? He addressed the sessions of the parliament, messages to the parliament, summon and prorogue the houses. What is summon and prorogue? He calls the house for meeting and then dismiss the house for meeting. Nomination of the members. The nominated members are nominated by the President of India. He promulgates the ordinance by Article 123. He lays down the ordinance when both houses are not in the session. Assent to some state bills. When governor keeps certain bills reserved for him to look upon, then he see that whether he has to give assent to that bill or not. And formation of new state. If any new state has to be formed, president has to sign that ordinance to make it as an act. Financial powers, money bill which are presented in the house are बाय हिज प्रायर रिकमेंडेशन. पहले प्रेसिडेंट से अप्रूवल लिया जाता है, फिर मनी बिल को प्रेजेंट किया जाता है. फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर ऑन बिहाफ ऑफ हिम रिप्रेजेंट एनुअल फाइनेंशियल बजट. जो अभी निर्मला सीतारमन है, इफ शी इज रिप्रेजेंटिंग द बिल, शी इज रिप्रेजेंटिंग इट ऑन बिहाफ ऑफ द प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ इंडिया. एंड इन एवरी 5 years president appoints the finance commission who looks after how the finances of the country going to be held. Judicial powers are also given to the president. What are the different judicial powers? Let's see. He is not answerable before any court of law. Whatever he is doing, whatever decisions he are taking, whatever things he are signing for, court cannot ask him why you are signing this. So he is not answerable before any court. No criminal suit. Criminal, there are two types of suits, which is criminal and civic. Civic suits can be filed on him by a prior notice of 14 days. No criminal suit can be filed on him till he is sitting on that chair as a president. And he also has power of pardon, reprieve, respite or remission. What are these powers? If someone is being sentenced for life, लाइक उनको फांसी होने वाली है, तो वो उस फांसी को मना कर सकते हैं, या उस सज़ा को कम करवा सकते हैं, या उस सज़ा का नेचर को बदल सकते हैं. ये सारे पावर्स हमारे प्रेसिडेंट के पास है. डिस्क्रिशनरी पावर्स. व्हाट डिस्क्रिशनरी पावर्स डू यू हैव? जब इलेक्शन हो चुका है लोकसभा का एंड गवर्नमेंट अपनी पार्टी बनाना चाह रही है, तो एक प्राइम मिनिस्टर को चुनना पड़ेगा. वो चुनने का पावर प्रेसिडेंट के पास है. जो भी हाईएस्ट मेजॉरिटी लेकर के आएगा, प्रेसिडेंट उनको चुन लेंगे. डिसॉल्व द हाउस और आस्क अदर पार्टी टू प्रूव मेजॉरिटी व्हेन करंट गवर्नमेंट लूजेस कॉन्फिडेंस. जब करंट गवर्नमेंट अपनी कॉन्फिडेंस लूज कर चुकी है उस हाउस में, तो अदर पार्टी को इनवाइट करना कि आप अपनी गवर्नमेंट बनाइए. मिनिस्टर्स, जो काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स हैं, उनको डिसमिस करना जब वो अपना कॉन्फिडेंस लूज कर चुके हैं, मेजॉरिटी नहीं है उनके पास, बट वो रिफ्यूज़ कर रहे हैं रिज़ाइन करने से, तो प्रेसिडेंट अपनी पावर को यूज़ करके उनको डिसमिस कर सकते हैं. मूविंग फॉरवर्ड टू द अनदर पावर विच इज़ emergency power. There are basically 3 different types of emergencies. First is national emergency, which comes under Article 352. Another one is president rule, which comes under article 356. Another one is article 360, which is financial emergency. national emergency तब लगता है जब देश को अपने पीस सिक्योरिटी पे थ्रेट नज़र आए किसी भी दूसरे नेशन से. स्टेट इमरजेंसी या फिर प्रेसिडेंट रूल तब लगता है जब कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल मशीनरी या वहाँ पे जो लोग गवर्नमेंट को रन कर रहे हैं वो लोग कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के अगेंस्ट चले जाएं और प्रेसिडेंट को ऐसा लगे कि हाँ अब टाइम आ चुका है कि मुझे इसमें प्रेसिडेंट रूल लगाना चाहिए, तब प्रेसिडेंट रूल लगता है. फाइनेंशियल इमरजेंसी तब लगता है जब फाइनेंशियल स्टेबिलिटी या क्रेडिट फीसिबिलिटी कंट्री की वीक हो जाए या फिर ऐसा लगे कि शायद अब हमारे पास पैसे ना बचे हों अपने देश को चलाने के लिए, तब हम फाइनेंशियल इमरजेंसी लगाते हैं. इस टाइम पे क्या होता है, इमरजेंसी के टाइम पे जो हमारी फंडामेंटल राइट्स है अपार्ट फ्रॉम आर्टिकल 20 एंड 21 जो हमें राइट टू लाइफ देता है, उसे छोड़कर बाकी सारे abolish हो जाते हैं. We cannot claim our rights during that time. Okay. Now answer these questions. When can national emergency be proclaimed and by whom? For how long can president's rule be imposed in a state? For 6 months, president can impose a president's rule in a state. Moving forward, we are moving on for the next authority, which is Vice President of India's qualification are very similar to President of India. 3 points are similar. First one, he must be citizen of India. Second, he must have completed 35 years of age. Third, he should not have any office of profit. Fourth different point is he should be eligible to be member of Lok Sabha. Here he should be eligible to be member of Rajya Sabha. Why Rajya Sabha? Because Vice President is also ex-officio chairperson of the Rajya Sabha. Now let's see the election. Here in the election, which is also named as system of proportional representation by means of single transferable vote, and it is also done by secret ballot. Here the member of parliament, both Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, elected, nominated, all these people are participating to elect Vice President of India. So we have seen the qualification, we have seen the election. Answer these questions. Which article stipulates or mention that there shall be Vice President of India? It is Article 63. Which article was talking about President of India? Answer it below. Term of office of Vice President. How long was President sitting in his office? For 5 years. Similarly, Vice President is also sitting in his office for 5 years since the date he enters that office. He addresses his resignation to whom? Vice President gives his resignation to whom? To President. And President resigns by writing to whom? To Vice President. Are they also removed for violation of Constitution? Yes, they are also removed for the violation of Constitution. And impeachment of President can be done in either of the house. But impeachment should be initiated in Rajya Sabha as he is ex-officio chairperson of Rajya Sabha. Moving forward, let's compare the qualifications, reason for indirect elections, composition of electoral college and term of office of these two powers. Also, one thing we need to see here that Vice President of India also takes up the charge as president when president has seen a death or he has resigned or there is a removal of president or when president is unable to discharge his function owing to absence or illness or any other cause. Okay, तो जब president अपने office में नहीं है तो the seat of the president is vacant, then vice president will take over those charges. Okay, now let's see the comparison between these two. First, the qualification. एक को लोकसभा के लिए एलिजिबल होना चाहिए, दूसरे को राज्यसभा के लिए. बाकी 3 सिमिलैरिटीज कौन सी थी? दे मस्ट बी सिटीजन ऑफ इंडिया, कंप्लीटेड 35 ईयर्स ऑफ एज, नो ऑफिस ऑफ प्रॉफिट. ओके, इलेक्शन में देखते हैं डिफरेंस क्या है. इलेक्शन में डिफरेंस ये है, दोनों का सिमिलैरिटीज क्या है? इनडायरेक्ट इलेक्शन हो रहा है, सिंगल रिप्रेजेंटेशन बाय प्रोपोर्शनल ट्रांसफर ऑफ वोट से हो रहा है, सीक्रेट बैलेट से हो रहा है. बट फॉर प्रेसिडेंट, elected members of Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, elected members of State Legislative Assembly and elected members of Union Territory of Delhi and Puducherry are participating. But Vice President में Parliament, Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha के nominated and elected members participate कर रहे हैं. Okay, now moving forward, पावर्स हमारे प्रेसिडेंट के पास लेजिस्लेटिव, एग्जीक्यूटिव, फाइनेंशियल, डिस्क्रिशनरी, इमरजेंसी, ये सारे पावर्स थे. बट वाइस प्रेसिडेंट के पास क्या पावर है कि जब प्रेसिडेंट नहीं रहेंगे तब वो प्रेसिडेंट की तरह एग्जीक्यूट करेंगे एंड वो चेयरमैन ऑफ राज्यसभा की तरह एक्ट करेंगे. ओके, नाउ लेट्स सी कि वो दोनों कितने टाइम के लिए रहते हैं. दोनों सेम टाइम पीरियड 5 years के लिए अपनी पोजीशन को होल्ड करते हैं. मूविंग फॉरवर्ड, let's see the previous year questions asked. Who elects President of India? You answer me. Who elects President of India? Indirect election by elected members, and answer it below. What are qualification required to become President and Vice President? Qualifications क्या था? एक को लोकसभा का चाहिए, दूसरे को राज्यसभा का, बाकी सिटीजन 35 years, नो ऑफिस ऑफ प्रॉफिट. वाई प्रेसिडेंट इलेक्टेड बाय इनडायरेक्ट वोट? क्यों इलेक्ट हो रहे हैं इनडायरेक्ट वोट में? मेंशन एटलीस्ट 3 points. ओके, नेक्स्ट मूविंग फॉरवर्ड, व्हाट इज द टर्म ऑफ प्रेसिडेंट? व्हेन एंड हाउ कैन ऑफिस बी वेकेटेड? व्हाट इज द टर्म ऑफ प्रेसिडेंट? 5 years. व्हेन एंड हाउ? व्हेन जब 5 years पूरा हो गया, या फिर जब उनकी डेथ हो गई है, वो रेजिग्नेशन देना चाह रहे हैं, या फिर ही इज़ नॉट एबल टू डिस्चार्ज द फंक्शंस. ओके, write short note on legislative, executive, judiciary, discretionary power of president. Mention 2 points each. Give 2 powers of function of president. Powers क्या है function का? He take over as a president. Next, he is ex officio chairperson of the Rajya Sabha, and when he is ex officio chairperson of Rajya Sabha, he regulates the debate and proceeding of that house. Okay. Moving forward, the president of India is nominal head. Do you agree? क्या प्रेसिडेंट सिर्फ नॉमिनल हेड है? डू यू एग्री? मेंशन योर कमेंट्स बिलो. कंपेयर पावर्स ऑफ प्रेसिडेंट एंड वाइस प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ इंडिया. कंपेयर द पावर्स. एक्सप्लेन इमरजेंसी पावर ऑफ प्रेसिडेंट एंड व्हेन इट इज डिक्लेयर्ड. ओके, आई हैव टॉट यू दिस, यू कैन एक्सप्लेन इट. एक्सप्लेन प्रोसेस ऑफ इम्पीचमेंट ऑफ प्रेसिडेंट. हाउ द प्रेसिडेंट इज बीइंग इम्पीच्ड. 14 day प्रायर नोटिस फ्रॉम आइदर ऑफ द हाउस. उस हाउस में रिजोल्यूशन पास होना चाहिए 1/3, एंड देन नेक्स्ट हाउस में जाने के बाद इंक्वायरी बैठनी चाहिए, इंक्वायरी का रिजोल्यूशन आना चाहिए. रिजोल्यूशन पास करने के लिए कितनी मेजॉरिटी चाहिए? मेंशन इट, एंड नेक्स्ट इट इज पास्ड. ओके, हु इज सुप्रीम कमांडर ऑफ डिफेंस फोर्सेज? आंसर, हु इज सुप्रीम कमांडर ऑफ डिफेंस फोर्सेज? प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ इंडिया. डिस्टिंग्विश बिटवीन इलेक्शन ऑफ प्रेसिडेंट एंड वाइस प्रेसिडेंट. प्रेसिडेंट की इलेक्शन इलेक्टेड मेंबर्स ऑफ लोकसभा, राज्यसभा, इलेक्टेड मेंबर्स ऑफ स्टेट लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबली एंड इलेक्टेड मेंबर्स ऑफ यूनियन टेरिटरी ऑफ दिल्ली एंड पुडुचेरीज असेंबली. वाइस प्रेसिडेंट का पार्लियामेंट के इलेक्टेड एंड नॉमिनेटेड मेंबर्स आर वोटिंग. प्रेसिडेंट एक्सरसाइज हिज पावर इन अकॉर्डिंग्स टू whom? Okay, he exercises his powers in accordance to whom? You should be answering in accordance to the Constitution of India. Okay, I hope you would have found this video informative and would have enjoyed learning with me. Thank you.